Welcome back everybody to another episode of Skid's Garage, and today we are going to install a ethanol content gauge into my 180. So let's get into it. So I've got myself a Innovate, the E85 sensor. Tells you the content of fuel and fuel temperature. I'm wanting to wire it in, and this is how I'm going to do it. So I currently have a flex fuel sensor connected up to the ECU. It's hard to see under here, but I've disconnected it. There's one plug there that goes into the ECU, and the other plug is hidden up there somewhere. It's too dark to see, but the plan is I've got myself these plugs here. I've already tested them. They plug into what I've already got, so I'm going to do a little, I guess, a patch loom. So with these wires here, I will plug them so that essentially I'm using the same colours as what they've already used for the kit that I've got. Yeah, this is not focusing, it's dark, but using the same colours there are already there. So essentially 3 wires, connector on either end, and that then goes between the 2 plugs that I've got on between the ECU and the sensor. Then I'm going to splice into it like that, and then again another plug on the end, and then on here, this was second hand, so someone else has already, the previous owners already done their own little connections and stuff on it, so I'll change this where needed. But I need to work out what 3 wires go onto what I'm making here. So plug goes on that, and then another plug goes onto that, and that'll plug in. So that should splice into the connections that I've got, and should start getting a reading from the flex fuel sensor I've already got installed. So this is the loom that actually came with the gauge. So that plugs into the flex fuel sensor, and then that plugs into the gauge. 3 wires. The wire colours don't actually match the gauge. If you look into it closely and you read the manuals and everything, they don't specify what the plug colours are, but then the colours that they specify you use for like ground, positive, your backing lights on, it doesn't leave you the same colours that are here. So the 3 colours that are left, I don't know in what order they go into to go into that plug there. So I'm going to have to, bit of a mess around, but I'm going to get stuck into making this little patch loom. I don't know what you call it, I'm calling it a patch loom. So I'm going to get stuck into making that, and fingers crossed it goes smoothly. Fingers crossed it works. So I've made these up. Hopefully this gives you a better idea of what I was trying to explain before. I don't feel I'm the best at explaining things, but a plug goes here, and then a plug goes up there, and then one goes here. So I will connect, for example, I'll connect that to the already existing loom, I guess, or whatever that goes to the sensor. I'll connect that to the ECU, so that'll reconnect that connection, and then I'll put a plug onto that side, and then where's my sensor gauge, sorry, and then a plug on that side. So a plug on that side, and that will connect onto that, and that will allow me to have a signal going to the ECU and a signal going to my gauge. So that's the plan. So now I just need to put the plugs on it and plug it up. And then I'm going to do some testing to see what wires I need from this that the plug used to be connected to, because I need to put a new plug on it so that I can connect it to this. So yeah, that's that. So let's get into getting some plugs onto it. So I've finished making this little contraption, little patch loom, now with the 2 plugs on it. Hopefully now it's making a little bit more sense as to what I'm trying to do. So let's try plugging it in. I don't know how I'm going to go doing this one-handed. Yeah, this is going to be near impossible one-handed. Oh, hang on. There we go. So that's plugged in one end. Let's see. Plug it up here. There we go, that's plugged in. Oh wow, that is hard to see, but it's plugged in there. Then runs across, it's plugged in here. There we go, you can see that now, all plugged in. So that's now going from the sensor to the ECU, but then also comes out, I guess, like a little tease off to those there, which will then, obviously with another loom I'll make, because this has to go to the other side of the car underneath the dash, that will then plug into these wires here so that my gauge will work. So yes, it's not the prettiest of jobs. I'm no auto electrician by the forest, but yeah, that's it. So here's my little homemade loom thing. Now that plugs are on either side, you can see exactly what's going on. So I've made it so either end can connect into the flex fuel sensor, and then the other end can plug into, I will be putting this plug here onto here when I work out what 3 wires I need to connect it to. So one end will connect to the flex fuel sensor, other end will connect into the gauge, and then this side here connects into the ECU. So fingers crossed that'll allow me to run both flex fuel and run a sensor at the same time. So looking at some photos online, using that as my reference as to what wire connected to what wire, and this is what I've come up with. So that is now connected to the gauge, This end here connects to my flex fuel sensor. This here connects to the ECU. So that's that done. All I now need to do is just make another loom that'll actually go between these two plugs, so I can actually have some extra length that goes under the dash, because this gauge actually is going on the other side of the car as to where the ECU is. So other than that, that's that little part done. So I've installed everything and put that kick panel all back in and tidied that all up. I've ran that extension loom under the dash all the way to my gauge. So that's all installed there with my double A-pillar gauge holder. It goes well with my boost gauge and controller. So let's see how this all looks. So there you go. It's now telling me a temperature, which is those green bars, and then the actual digits are telling me my content percentage. So that's that. It's a bit annoying that the screens are flashing on camera, but so yeah, that's it. That's that all installed, and it works. So I'll consider that a win. So that is that gauge installed. So thanks for watching, and I'll see yous on the next episode of Skid's Garage.